Listen, we did an episode in which we changed our clothes. We're still here, right? That was a previous episode. Anyway, we were talking about blended families. We were talking about family dynamics, family structure, what it looks like, how it affects the kids, how it affects the adults involved, and all of that good stuff. So it's good to talk about these things, because we're professionals. Dr. Fatisha here, she has a practice and she does telemedicine, telehealth, mental health, and she deals with a lot in the family dynamics with children and the parents involved, the caretakers involved. And sometimes she has to even prescribe medicine. So can you talk a little bit about that before we bring our guests on?
All right. So yes, I actually do prescribe medications. I guess particularly if they're seeing me, be honest with you, they are actually being prescribed medication. If I see them in the very beginning, it's like a first initial intake or something like that, and I'll ask them to go off and just see a therapist, then I said, when you need to come back to me, that's when you can come back and we'll attempt medication. So everybody that I see on a monthly basis, I see all the children, anybody that's from 17 and under every 4 weeks, because things can change in their bodies. Hormones are occurring, moods are changing, and different things like that. And you want to make sure that you capture what's really happening in their lives to make sure medications are right and stuff like that. So with that being said, I do have every visit is with a parent or guardian, someone who's in charge. I never see any children by themselves. Okay. Because they're not the ones that are in charge. Yeah. Some may try to send them by themselves on telehealth. I said, oh, no, we need your parent, and it has to be the legal guardian of the parent, of the child. And so with that, that's when I started talking to them about how's your day, how's it going, how's everything, do you have anything you want to talk about, any concerns. That's how I always start off with them, because I want them to know that I'm here for them, not just to give them medication, but I'm here to make sure that they're doing well. It's like, hey, how are you? Kind of thing, right? And so with that being said, the parents are giving me the dynamics of what they're doing at home. There's behaviors at home that they're doing, the behaviors at school, and then we're adjusting medications. Is it the right medicine? Is it the right dosage? Do you need to go through more behavioral therapy? Like, I'll let them know after a while, if you only try medication, and this is not the thing, you have to do therapy for your child. Like, find a behavioral therapist, find a psychotherapy, someone that's going to be able to help them out, because it's just not all medication related. So with that, all that, and sharing with them, okay, now you have to parent, because some people don't understand to parent these days. They're trying to make sure, like, be the best friend, or not try to discipline, or am I doing it right or doing it wrong? I'm like, okay, you have to do something, and then many times, like, you're doing such a great job, come on, I'm rooting them on, like, yeah. And I have some parents I had to actually lead and guide and say, you have to be more disciplined, you have to be more structured, you have to put in these repercussions, you have to put in this reward system, all different things, so that they can be able to. But it's just, so even on my end, I'm helping the parents on their end, and leading them and guiding them. Even if there's a husband and there's a wife, there's a mom, there's a dad, or there's a grandparent, they all need some kind of guidance to be able to reassure that everything is okay, with what they're doing.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. And we're relying on medicine to fix problems where communication can fix.
Absolutely.
Structure, boundaries put in place can fix.
Yes.
But we're relying on medicine.
What I see a lot is they're dealing with the medication, but a lot of this video stuff. Video gaming is taking over, and they're allowing the video games to parent for them. Okay, go sit in front of this and have your Switch, have your whatever, or go over there. And then what happens after this is that they become addicted to it, and they after become addicted to it, now they don't want to get off their game. If mom telling the child, okay, it's time to go eat, or it's time to go shower, or it's time to go bathe, or it's time to go to school, they want to have a fit. And then that's when they're like, and then don't top it off, the type of games that they're allowing them to play. They're playing like Fortnite, all these different kind of things that are just horrible. Different things that, just shoot them up, bang them up and stuff like that, killing the people and stuff like that. And wonder why they're aggressive, why they're throwing their controls around, why they're behaving like, I can't, it's like, I'm thinking like,
Mhm.
why are you doing this to your parents, but I understand why, because they're letting them between
It's the
medication.
overstimulation. Look at the
Yes.
little kids. And we're gonna bring on a young lady, like we told you in the last episode, Honesty Ray. But she's gonna give us some insight into actually, because she talks to them, she's on their level. Like, what are they thinking? How are they feeling? How are they processing, their situation, their family dynamics, the whole 9 yards. And the behavior problems that you see in school and the acting out and all of that stuff. But one of the things is this, like you said, they're being raised by technology, and technology dictates to them how they feel, their perception of things, and it desensitizes them to the point that they don't know right from wrong. And they don't understand reality versus some fantasy realm that they're in.
That's right.
And they operate and think and function based on some outside reality. And then they wonder when consequences happen, the consequences of their action, how did they get there?
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's scary. It really is scary. And so with that being said, we're going to segue into bringing this young lady with us. Let us welcome Honesty Ray.
Hello.
Honesty, how are you doing? Thank you
you
so much for taking your time out and hanging out with the old people.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I felt so called out when y'all was talking about all that. So I was like,
Okay.
but yeah.
Tell us what you think, because of what we said. You said you're feeling called out.
Yeah.
Why? Because you recognize
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, I do. Even with like the technology stuff, y'all is right. Like even with I feel like a lot of the way that my generation thinks and kids that are younger than me think, like it's because of technology, mainly social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people, it is gaming, but I feel like social media is like a really big part of that.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't know, even with my own opinions, like I watch a lot of debates and stuff, cause I like to see people debate. Like I like to see people's opinions on stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of the things that we think of and a lot of the ways that we think, I feel like it's more on the guidelines of that than parenting.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it is that you guys are being socially engineered to think a certain way? To be dumbed down? To have your thought processes, your opinions guided by outside sources, namely social media?
I do. I say this because, like, something that I've realized quite recently, especially with my generation, is that we don't tend to find things out on our own. Like, I remember there was a study done saying that more people look things up on TikTok than they do Google. So
Whoa.
they would rather get their information. A lot of they would rather get their information from a TikTok that some random person made than go to Google and look it up. So yeah, I do personally feel like that is dumbing us down. Like, people will believe anything you say. Like, you can tell the sky is purple.
My granddaughter was like, yeah, you can find anything on TikTok. I'm like, honey, you can't on TikTok.
Yeah.
No, it's not all true. I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm really,
like,
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's true though. Like, I've seen it. I've even done it a few times where people, like, they will actually make TikToks that are kind of like satirical. Like, when they do it, be like, they'll tell you some random fact, and that's what I believe it. And they're like, that fact was a lie, and you just believed it just now. Like, oh shit. Yeah. So it's like, I do feel like that is, and I don't know if it's like purposeful.
it is.
Yeah, what? But yeah, I definitely do feel like social media is dumbing down a lot of our generation and stuff.
Well, social media, and especially when you're dealing with the TikTok issue and stuff like that, that's engineered by China, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so it is social engineering, literally, because it wants your generation, the generations coming behind you, to feel and think a certain type of way, so that they, in turn, they can drop information, the same way. And I'll tell you what it's like. Okay, whenever there's a war, there'll be pamphlets that have a plane flying over that area, and they'll drop propaganda, because it's all propaganda. They'll drop propaganda leaflets, and the people are picking those leaflets up, and they run with whatever's being said, and it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And they say the enemy is coming to get your children to do this, to do that, and don't yield, blah, blah,
Wow. Yeah.
It's social engineering to get you to let down your guard, to think whatever it is they want you to think, so that they can control you.
Yeah, and you're telling the truth. That is truth. That is true. I can't even say anything. Like something else that y'all were talking about too, with when y'all were talking about like families and I don't know, like what's it called when they have like two sets of parents or something like that?
Blended families.
Yeah, blended families and kids being raised by their grandparents and stuff. I have seen all that stuff that y'all talked about firsthand, actually, because I have a lot of friends, especially in my school, and they all like come to me with their problems and stuff, and you know, so I've seen a lot of that stuff firsthand. But with the blended family thing, and actually now I'm gonna start off with the grandparents, because I feel like that one is something that doesn't really get talked about much, but it has some pretty big consequences to it, like for both sides. I feel like, like, because I do know somebody who was, I'm gonna just say her story. I ain't gonna say no names or nothing, but I'm just like, you know, so y'all know. But she was actually someone who was raised by her grandparents, because neither her dad or her mom wanted to be in her life. Like, I guess they felt like they were just too young to raise a kid or something. But yeah, she was actually raised by her grandmother until she was like about 12, because her grandmother passed away. That's when her mom had no choice but to take her in. But her mom still having that mentality that like, oh, like I can't raise a child and stuff, because you know her mom did it for her. So now she has to raise this teenager, and she has no idea how to raise a teenager. She doesn't even know her daughter. So like now she's just kind of letting her roam around and just do whatever she wants. And so there's
no boundaries.
Yeah, there's no bound. Like she's trying to be her daughter's best friend, I guess. You know, she's more like a friend than a mother. So yeah, that I've seen that happen firsthand, and it was pretty bad. And honestly, I really do pray that she can get in a better situation. But yeah.
So what does that look like though when she's talking to you, and some of her situations and how she's reacting to things, and what about her habits or things that she's doing that can be dangerous to her because her mother's her friend?
Yeah. Well, some things that I do see that she does that I find a little bit like scary for her is that she tends to just like, since her mother doesn't give her any boundaries and she can do whatever she wants, she hangs out with all types of people. She vogues, she sleeps around, like she vapes. I mean, she smokes. She like does all this stuff. Like she can pretty much do whatever she wants, and her mom is just like, you know, just don't get hurt. Like I think she even had an abortion recently, which was kind of scary for everybody. But I don't know. It's like, really, it kind of feels, it's sad to see people in that position, especially with me being as young as I am, because I don't know what to tell her. Like, I don't know what to say. You know, I try to give her my best, like, you know, what I think she should do, but in the end, like, I'm just a kid, too. Like, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much I know. Like, there's only so much I know. And, you know, some people...
That is very honest.
Yeah,
you're just a kid,
it.
too. So why don't we find an adult to talk to? Help, you know. But you try to do the best that you can, because you're trying to be there for her as a friend.
Yeah.
So what else have you seen? Like, children who, do you know anybody that's cutting themselves? Do you know anybody, or is that usually in middle school? Do high schoolers still do that?
Actually, I don't think right now I know anyone cutting themselves. I did in middle school, though.
Because I seem to be a middle school thing.
Yeah, it was like, it's the reasoning. The thing is that, you know, I feel like a lot of middle schoolers go through this phase where it's like, you know, you just kind of want to be seen. Now, I'm saying that anybody is doing it for attention, but a majority of kids do. Because, you know, a majority of kids do. Because
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess it's just like, the trying to be different thing. I just want to be quirky. I just want to be cool. Like, I want to stand out pretty much. And so, yeah, but I haven't seen too many high schoolers do it. Usually, if they do, like, because, cutting is like a coping method for a lot of people. So, usually, by the time they get to high school, they transition over to something like sex or drugs or something like that.
To cope.
Yeah, to cope. They don't cut anymore.
And what are they coping from? Like, what is it that they need to cope? Why do they need to cope? Like, what's going on?
I don't, because, like, it's different things for different people. Some people have, like, really hard times at home, from what I've seen. Like, I didn't even know a guy who, he was struggling with a drug-addicted mother. Mm-hmm. And he was practically raising his siblings, so like he was the parent. Okay. He was the oldest, so he was the parent, and so he turned to drugs for that, because like that was how his mom coped. That was the only way he knew how to cope, because that's what he saw. But yeah, like usually it's different things. But from what I have seen the most is that it's when they have a parent who's not really a parent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or when they have like all these situations. Yeah, practically, like I said, a parent that's not providing for their child. They're not taking care of their child. They're not making their child feel heard or seen or stuff. And usually, yeah, that's when kids usually turn to other things. And the reason why, like I said, I feel like the reason why a lot of kids turn to that is because first it's popular. Like, sleeping around, having sex, all that stuff is really popular right now. And so, usually if you ask your friends what to do, they'll be like, oh, you can like do, well, they won't out really say that, but they kind of do allude to that too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then it's either that or that's what they see their parents doing, and they're just following their parents' lead.
Wow. How does it make you feel to walk into situations like this? You're walking into the school, and everywhere around you, somebody's dealing with something. Somebody's trying to cope some kind of way. Mm-hmm. Somebody is, it's like, it seems like it would be heavy.
It is. Honestly, I will say there's somebody new that I find myself just feeling sadness for every day. And it sucks too, because I'm a very, like, if I see somebody hurting, I try to help out. It's just, oftentimes, it's kind of hard for me too, because, like, as a young woman, especially in this generation, people, they take that the wrong way. And, like, if, sometimes they'll take it as you, like, looking down on them, or if it's a guy and he's into you, he takes it as you flirting with him, and he's like, oh, she wants me. And it's like, no, bro, I just want to help out. So it could be a very difficult situation, and it can feel very heavy, but I just tend to pray and let God deal with it, because I don't. That's all I can do.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
What you say to all of this?
What I say to all this, they are dealing with a lot of different things. Dr. Candace, I don't remember this really being as much of a serious issue when we were younger. Okay, yeah. But they're dealing with different magnitudes of things.
Yeah,
different things that they have to learn to live with,
to navigate through.
Yes,
landmines.
Yes, and why? And that will. Why we see a lot of depression, why we see a lot of
amongst
anxiety.
Young people.
Yeah, and as far as cutting and stuff like that, what we were just talking about, because they're coping. Mm-hmm. And then to top it off, I do have some that are still adolescents that are in the high school that still cut. They probably are now. They're hiding it at that time, mm-hmm. or were they showing it when they're younger? Like you said, it was like an end thing. Mm-hmm. So they probably are showing it out forth a little bit more when they're in middle school, but then in high school they're hiding it. Mm-hmm. So you don't really know that they're doing it
because they're cutting their legs,
because their legs,
inside their legs and stuff,
upper body parts and stuff like that.
Somebody can't see.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But you're dealing with some heavy things, and you're doing a great job. As far as you navigating and helping people mm-hmm. as well, which I commend you too, because it's a lot. Just don't take on too much.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to push back, because it is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I've walked through the high school hallways, and it is so heavy. I was like, wait a minute. I remember when everything was light and you want to go to school and you think of team sports, high school. No.
No, I have a lot of children who want to do more
They want
homeschooling.
to. Yeah, they want to homeschool.
They're scared to go to school, or it's just too much for them to deal with. So like, I'd rather just be at home.
And especially if you're an empath,
Oh,
to take on all of that heaviness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, being in school, I feel like I've come to a conclusion about, like, a lot of things, like, especially seeing it firsthand. I feel like the reason why a lot of people are, or a lot of kids minded, or, like, the way that they are, is just because, you know, they're just raised by a bunch of people who either don't want to be parents, or they just don't know how. And so now you have all these selfish people that don't know what they're doing. Actually, no parent really knows what they're doing, but I guess are not really trying to raise a kid, that are raising kids, and then their kids are just growing up all effed up. And actually, like, I just think it's gonna be even worse from here, because like now you have these effed up, these more, you know, crazy people, like they don't know what they're doing raising kids, and now it's just like, I don't know. So it's like I really don't know. I really don't know what to do for this generation. Like, it's just gonna get worse from here.
Do you want to have kids one day?
I do.
Why?
It's because it's I want to teach my kids how to be able to see when a person is hurting and to be able to help them out, because I feel like we don't have enough people like that in the world. Like, you know, it's not enough people out here who really care. And so, you know, I just want to, like, I guess give that to the world and give that to my kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
The epitome of,
Amazing.
hey fam, how you doing? How you doing? Because you want to make sure that people are okay. Wow. That's commendable. That really is. And unfortunately, for your generation and the generations coming back, I'm telling you, really, it truly is social engineering. And so because of that, I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss for words. I mean, I really am. And we're trying to see how we can snatch people out of this bottomless pit called social media.
Yes.
That is really driving the focus of dismantling families. Man, okay, guys, we're at the end of this episode. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Hey Fam, how you doing? We've heard from, this young lady, Honesty Ray, and she has brought some things to our attention as old heads. Just to see what children, young people are dealing with. Guys, pray. Talk to your young person. Find out where they're going, what's in their head, how they're feeling, okay? And with that being said, we will talk about this some more. We'll talk about some other things concerning families next week. This is my co-host, Dr. Fatisha Andrews. I'm Dr. Candace House. Our guest here, young lady, is Honesty Ray. Thank you for joining us for this episode. Hope to see you soon.